Hey Tristan, come here. Tristan, Precision Cut Archery. We happen to have him in person. We're going to go through the process of how you set your bow in correctly. It is really freaking easy. He's going to walk you through it. But number one, we need to get our measurements off our bow so we know that it's accurate. All right, so in order to get your measurements correct for this, you're going to need to put your bow on a draw board or do the unsafe method where you draw it back and a buddy holds it and takes your measurements. But you need from the center of the arrow to the center of the peep, and from the center of the peep to the pin, correct?
Yep, or the thing you aim with.
Or the
like
thing
a
you
dot
aim
if
with.
it's a
Dot.
lens.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. And arrow weight, right?
Yes.
Okay. Stick an arrow on the bow.
I like to burn that first inch like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was
So
doing
you can
too.
do a little bit better. So what we got, 4 1/8. Did you
Yep,
say?
looks like it.
4 1/8.
4 1/8.
A little bit down.
Go
there
ahead.
we go, right there. That's good.
One more thing. We need to measure our arrow weight. There's a scale over here. Thanks, sir.
Gotta learn somehow.
So 425.4. We'll go put those in the computer. We got to get a 20 and a 70 roughly so we can hit a bail, shoot it through a lab radar and get exact speeds at both distances. And the smart dude with the brain over here figured out how to do the rest.
Tristan.
What's up?
You're smarter than you look. Tell us,
Come on, man. I don't know if that's a compliment or
it's a compliment for sure. How'd you start this whole shenanigans?
started, using kind of factory tapes and using other things like Archer's Advantage and whatnot in the past, and it just always left a little bit to be desired. Obviously, it's like as a software engineer, the clunky software just was like, God, there's got to be a way to make this easier. So I just kind of started messing around with the math and figuring out if we could do it. Got something I think worked, launched an MVP, launched a product, got some people involved, got a couple professionals involved, and just kind of taken off from there. The product is built on the idea of how can we get a site, how can we put good data into a program and get a perfect site tape right away. No tweaking, no having to fudge this or fudge that to bring in these marks. Good data should equal a good site tape right away, right? So that's kind of the idea. What that means for a site tape is it really comes down to aerodynamic drag of the arrow. And so how much does that arrow slow down? Every other program is trying to estimate how much is that arrow slowing down based on its vanes, based on its diameter, based on its length, all of those things that you have to put into these programs.
Right.
Whereas we're using the data that's applied to us to essentially calculate that drag coefficient of the arrow. So that's what we're going to use the lab radar for. It's going to measure the arrow as it's flying down range. We're going to take that, produce a drag coefficient essentially, and then use that to make the tape. Yeah, so it started with just sight marks, right? You'd shoot in a 40, you'd shoot in 100, you'd measure that gap, and that was the data that we supplied. The problem is it kind of requires being at least a decent shooter to shoot in good marks, right? That's the biggest pain. It would take days and weeks and who knows what to shoot in those marks. I have yet to have anyone report a inaccurate tape from the lab radar data. It just, with good data, assuming the measurements are right, it just works. Michael Allman, who obviously went to Vegas, is super good archer, super good shot. He shot in a 30-yard mark and a 90-yard mark, and he was using that 2-mark method to make his tapes. And so he had that gap, and I was like, hey, let's try the radar too and see if what it says. So he put his specs in, shot with the radar, put those in, and his measured gap between 30 and 90 was 0.904 inches. My predicted gap between 30 and 90 with the radar was 0.903. So we were 1,000th of an inch different, which is I think 1/4 of the thickness of a human hair. So, basically they were the same, exactly, with a guy that's, Michael's level.
Idea of where my bow is going to impact at 70 yards, so we're going to send an arrow and use the Doppler or lab radar to get exact measurements so we know how fast it is at multiple distances, and then the wizard does the rest.
Pretty good. 305.
You want one more?
Yeah. Make sure we get the same thing twice.
2 just to make sure. That's good.
Yeah. If we get something different, we'll do 3.
It's just a little too fluffy. It's
So virtually the same.
Okay.
And this doesn't show you like the decimals either, so it might
Gotcha.
be like 34 point, like I don't even think it rounds.
That could be 34.9 and
Yeah,
35.1.
Right,
305.1.
exactly. We can see
Got
what
it.
it is here.
Cool.
Call this bow Josh. You got a black gold.
Screen recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was your? You got your those measurements? And an
4 1/8. Yeah, 4 1/8 and 29 1/8.
Also, hot tip now. You can type in just the fractions.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I was sick
That's
of
changed.
doing
Yeah, figuring the decimal conversion.
29
That's nice.
and an 1/8.
29 and 1/8.
Okay, and 4 and 1/8.
And 425 on the arrow weight.
425.
Really heavy for me.
Yeah, that is.
That's weird. I was like, what did you say?
Yeah.
What's
No.
wrong with you?
Please, thank you. There should be 2.
You lost your way. Sub 400.
No, I just want to shoot these for a little bit and play with them, give feedback.
Weight go up. What you got?
This is an HLR. It's a heavier arrow. That's. I didn't show you these yet, did I? Daniel's son.
Okay.
Did you self-report?
He's had to self-report yesterday.
He said
I
like
already
2
got
times
one
criminal,
filmed
brother.
for him.
You want this tape to start at 20 or 15?
Let's start it at 20. Yeah.
Filming down there?
And they going on.
Dan.
That's good. That's fair.
Oh, the noise in the background is Joel Turner and Dan Staten hollering at each other. I apologize if that's what you're hearing right now.
Because people keep punching the triggers.
Because people keep just slamming the shit out of their triggers.
You could almost squeeze in 50. Think you can clear 150?
Just you 2?
Yeah.
You 4?
Probably not with that black gold.
Hit record on the-
Probably run out of movement.
I'll find out.
We'll try it.
I'll cut it off.
Okay, there we go. So we got the tape. I need a piece of label
Yeah.
paper.
It's okay. Said I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
All right, so we got the tape, printed off, weatherproof label paper. Now we got to put this on this site. On the black golds, since you usually want your top to be 20, you can line that up exactly with 20. Your indicator's can move down, it looks like a little bit, so if I don't
It'll
get
go
it
down. It
perfect.
just won't go up.
All right, so then,
Awesome.
so now what I would do is I would dial this down to like 60. Or
Okay.
70 or 80, maybe 100 if it's Josh Jones. Shoot until 100's money by moving the gang adjust
Gotcha.
on here, because with this site you can move that
Okay.
until 100 is 100, and
Gotcha.
then go back and test
Sure.
everything else.
Perfect.
And it should be
Right on. It's literally that simple, folks. This program is the one that I use especially for long distance. I quit using the other, I was messing with 2 other ones for a while. I quit using them a while ago because this is so accurate. And when I get out to my extreme long distance stuff, it's super easy to make a tiny little tweak, print another tape, check it against it. I'll go through 3 or 4 getting those bows that I get out to like 180, 200 to get an actual sight tape to print it, and his will do it. You can justify changes in here a ton. You can change the numbers, the size, the scale, the gaps between. There's just so much you can do with this program. It's totally worth it. I would emphasize it to everybody who makes a sight tape or uses a bow with a sight tape. It is simply a better sight tape. You heard it here first. Go out and buy it.